Hi, so excited to be here. This is the first live that I've done as a standout member, and yeah, it's awesome to be here. So, hello everyone. My name's Sharon Henderson, and I am a digital strategist. And I'm going to talk to you today about how I went from being a struggling web designer to a digital marketing specialist of the Year award with New Zealand Prestige Awards. So that's um, something that I'm pretty proud of, and I want to share with you how I made that transition. So I'm just going to wait a little bit and see who comes into the live and also check comments that are coming through. Please do say hi and let me know that I'm streaming in the right group and that everything is working okay. And then I will get started on my live. And I'll just refresh my page. I'm just checking on my phone as well to make sure that everything is working okay, and it seems to be, so that's super cool. So what I'm going to do is just share what I have done to get to where I am. But I also want to share with you some common mistakes that people make when they're trying to make their mark online as well. And if you tune in and stay to the end, then I have a couple of what I reckon are pretty awesome gifts for you. So please comment, let me know you're there, and anyone who is still with me at the end of this live will be in to get some pretty cool gifts. So I will get started and wait for those comments to come through. Please show your support. Anyone who has done Facebook Lives before will know that that interaction is really, really valuable for the person that is going live. Okay, so I will get started. So just for those that are joining now, I am going to be talking about how I went from struggling web designer to digital marketing specialist of the year. So basically, what I was doing originally and why I was struggling was that I was serving everyone. I'd cast the net far too wide. And I was also burning the candle at both ends in that I was appearing weekly on lives, both in my group and elsewhere as well. I was trying out all these different streaming platforms to try and make sure I was everywhere and anywhere that I could be, posting on every conceivable social media platform, writing a blog, doing everything, and getting really burnt out. And the other thing that I did, which I think a lot of us fall into this mistake, is that we undercharge because we're looking at the number of hours that we spend and seeing the value in that, when in fact we are the value. The experience that we bring, the the skills that we have, all of this is what we are actually able to charge for. And so many of us are undercharging, we're just not charging what we're worth. So that's another thing too. And so that's really important. And the other side of that is, of course, that if you are sharing and giving all of you for a mere hourly rate, then there's a perceived value that goes with that as well. So if you're trying to undercut other people, and I do see this a lot, so in a lot of Facebook groups, particularly with web designers, you find one person posts and says, I'm looking for someone to build my website for me. And straight away, there's a huge scramble of people, and they're all saying, I'll do it, and everybody's trying to undercut each other, and ultimately that's a scramble to the bottom, and you can do so much better than that. And if you're presenting yourself as cheap, then people are less likely to go with you. The people that you really want to go with you are so much less likely to do so, for the simple reason that they think, well, there must be a reason why she's not charging much, and you get what you pay for. So there's an awful lot to that. And as soon as you start recognizing your own value, then you find that the doors really start to open for you. And that's definitely what happened for me. Now, one thing that I did want to mention as well is that if anybody would like me to audit their website online live, I'm happy to do that. So if you want to drop in the comments the link to your website, we can go through it. Actually, I've just realized that I can't share my screen. The only way I can share my screen, I think, is if I use a streaming platform, and the guidelines that I'm following do recommend that we don't do that because there are issues with broadcasts when you do. So we're supposed to use a native Facebook Live, which is a shame. But if you still want to drop your link, I can have a look at your site and give you some quick feedback on what I think. We can do that live, because I think even though people can't see the site, I think it's still really helpful to see what's good, what's not working, and that will help other people as well. So that remains open to you for the duration of this live. We have about 25 minutes left, and then I'm going to talk about my free gifts. But if you want to enter in the comments your link, drop your link to your website, I'll have a look at it live, and I will give you some feedback from the perspective of a digital strategist. So you might be wondering what a digital strategist does, and that actually aligns with this particular topic that I'm talking about, because I refer in my title to a struggling web designer, and that's something that was part of the problem for me, was that I am so much more than a web designer. And that's because I don't just make pretty websites. Pretty websites do not function to get you your end result, which is quality clients. What you really need is to have a strategically designed website that is connected to plenty of automations and sales funnels and everything that you need to nurture your lead from the moment they arrive until the moment that they convert into a loyal paying client or customer. So that's I think a big part of what helped me win my award, was realizing that I needed to differentiate myself from the web designer that just makes things pretty, and creating instead something that is strategic and is built to convert. And I think that's the big difference there. So other things that I learned that helped me achieve my success was, rather than trying to do everything myself, recognize that actually you cannot be the master of everything. You need to focus on your superpower and then hire other people to do the rest. That's the only way you're going to survive in business. Otherwise, you're going to get burnt out. So what I did was I put my money where my mouth was, and I invested in myself. And the first thing that I invested in was a coach. And that was a long process. It took me from having decided that I wanted to hire a coach to actually hiring a coach. It took me about a year. And because my niche is coaches and consultants, I was able to really meet and greet and get to know a huge number of coaches, business coaches and growth strategists, to determine who was going to be the right fit for me and who was going to really help me convert my existing business to something that is now award-winning. So after a year, I just happened to connect with an awesome coach, absolutely fabulous lady. And I knew, it took me a year, but I knew at that point that I had found the person that was going to help me transform my business. And the very first thing that she got me to do was to go through a process of determining my client avatar, which essentially is your ideal client. And that kind of goes back to the fact that I was serving everyone and I'd cast my net far too wide. So by determining who I really wanted to serve, I was able to have everything else fall into place. And it really is a step-by-step process that you do need to go through. And you cannot miss a step. You have to go through the entire process step by step and do it thoroughly. And I'm so glad I did that because it really was transformative for me. And it enabled me to narrow my niche to my favorite people in the world to work with, which are coaches and consultants. And once you do that, once you truly understand who it is that you want to serve, that's when you can determine the right messaging, the right offer, the right way to present your website, and everything that you use to present yourself online. And I am giving away a client avatar guide that I've put together that I found incredibly helpful. And it comes with nicely illustrated worksheets in bite-sized pieces so that you can go through the process and really figure out who you can offer to anybody who is here until the end. Please do say hello if you're watching. I would love to hear from you. And I look forward to seeing you at the end so that I can share this gift. This is just one of two gifts that I have for you. So as part of the client avatar process, I really got into their shoes. I engaged with them, developed relationships so that I could really understand what their struggles were and then find a solution that met their struggles. And I did that through a package that is specifically for coaches and consultants that gives them everything that they need to really take their business to the next level online. And I actually coined the package and the method, the ROI method. So that's my method. And if you do head onto my website, you'll see that there. Oh, hi, Anna. Hello from Portugal. Awesome. Hello back from New Zealand, Auckland, New Zealand, where it's a crisp winter's day. I imagine it's beautiful in Portugal. Thank you for commenting. Keep them coming. Stay to the end, Anna, and I have a couple of lovely gifts for you. If you have any questions, please do leave them in the comments for me. So I did my market research. I really learned what it was that they wanted, and that's how I was able to formulate this package for them. And the other thing that I'm really aware of is that coaches and consultants, there's a spectrum. Some are just starting out and have limited budgets. Others are really, really busy professionals who have yet to perfect their digital marketing systems. So I have two packages for them so that they cater for each budget. And that's another thing that's really important, is to determine not only who you want to serve, but where they are in their journey and determine what you can offer them. So in addition to developing meaningful relationships, I also made sure that I gave value rather than selling. I do find that, especially on Instagram, I get a lot of cold sales messages, and it's an instant turn off. Just hard selling is not the way to go. So what I do in my group and on my social media platforms is I give value rather than selling, and then the clients come to you anyway, and they're much more likely to come to you that way too. So that's another thing that I would recommend. And another thing is always over deliver, always. And make sure that client happiness is first and foremost. That is incredibly important to me, and I will go the extra mile for clients to make sure that they are happy, because long after the project's completed, what I want is to have happy clients, because happy clients recommend you to other clients that you can also make happy. So that's also super important. And another one, do things when you say you're going to do them. There's nothing worse than promising something on a certain day and then not actually coming through with that. And if you can't meet a deadline, be honest and open and explain why. So client relationships are everything. And so what I'd like to do now is talk about what I learned from coaches and consultants. And I think this extends to other niches as well, but what I learned when I did my market research. So what I found was that the most common struggles that people face when working as coaches and consultants, and for a lot of other business owners as well, is that they don't start with the client avatar, which is incredibly important. You have to start with your client avatar first. You need to know, who is my dream client? Who do I want to serve? Before you can start creating everything else. But the clients that come to me tend to have already paid for a logo, for a website, and a heap of other stuff. And they've often paid a huge amount of money. And oftentimes, it's a really pretty website, but it doesn't speak to their target market. And that's why we always have to take that step back and look at that first. So if you're thinking about starting a business, or you're thinking about launching a website and a digital marketing system, then my advice is go through the process first. Really figure out who you want to serve, what their struggles are, and who they are, and what you can do to help them. Now, that's a very simplified summary of the client avatar process, and anybody who is here to the end, as I have said already, I am going to give my free client avatar guide with worksheets too. So stay to the end and I will give that to you. And I see we have a few people watching now. Anna has said hi. I would love for anybody else who's watching to just say in the comments where you're from, and anything about you would be awesome. Thank you. So what I find when people come to me is generally they've already paid for a website. And when we have a look at it and I audit it, what I often find is that what they've invested in is a pretty brochure style website. And by that, I just basically mean a digital brochure and nothing else. It just sets everything out in a digital version of a physical brochure. They've often spent hours creating content to become visible. They've spent more hours scheduling and posting content on multiple platforms. They've invested hours hustling in Facebook groups. And a really common thing that people have done is bought a myriad of unnecessary tools and then spent hours learning how to use all of these tools, and then discovering that they need Zapier zaps to connect up all the tech. And oftentimes they've wasted time learning the wrong tech, or they've bought tech and apps that they then find need to be upgraded in order to unlock essential features. These are things that are very common struggles. And then they've probably gone slightly crazy managing all the logins, and what they end up with is tech overwhelm. And they want nothing more to do with the technology, and that's when they normally come to me. So they have often spent a heap of money and done everything they think they need to do, but they're getting insufficient leads, and then those leads are not converting into what we all want, which is the loyal paying clients that pay us what we're worth, not some hourly rate. And then when it comes to the website and we look at the website, what I often find is that there are common pitfalls that people fall into. So we've already mentioned not using a digital brochure, so that's really important. Your website needs to do a lot more than just present what you do in a pretty way. It's all about the customer journey. It's about getting and captivating the lead from the moment they arrive on the website and then transporting them to your ultimate goal, whether that's opting in to grow your email list or purchasing an offering or whatever it might be, in the shortest possible time. And one thing that I do recommend is that you avoid platforms like Wix and Weebly. And that's because these platforms, they seem like nice click and go easy options, but if you are in your business for the long term, then you really need to be able to scale your business. And Wix and Weebly do not enable you to do that. They have lots and lots of hidden restrictions and extra prices you have to pay for this and that. And so what people often find is that they put all this time into getting their site up and live, and then they come to me and they have to start again with something like WordPress, or I also use another marketing tool which we can use for people who are just starting out to begin with. But both of these options will scale with you, and that is really, really important. Not to mention the SEO considerations as well. So search engine optimization is really important, and Google loves WordPress. That gets top scores when it comes to SEO. So these are all considerations that need to be made before people invest in all of these different digital tools and a website. And another thing that's really important is to make sure that your website fulfills your objective. So there's no point just having a big spread where you land, we call it the above fold content, that has a picture but doesn't have a call to action or CTA there that gets the leads to either schedule a call or collect, or enables you to collect emails or gets you to perform a buy now action. Whatever it happens to be, you need to get your leads doing something. So that's really important. And whatever website you have, this is going to be better than any staff member could ever be, because if you do it right, your website and digital marketing system are going to work for you 24/7, 365. Okay, so I have a few more minutes and then I am going to talk about what I will be promoting, because as a stand-up member I have 30 minutes and I can talk to you about promotions in the last 5. So we will be talking about that soon, so do stay to the end. And if you're watching this on the replay, comment and I will be able to then give you the resources too. So yes, just speak to me, talk to me and engage with my live or my replay. That will be awesome. So frustratingly, I would love to be able to show you some websites that have big fails in what they do. So you have a visual representation of it. But unfortunately, you're just stuck with me right now because I can't share screens easily. So things that are common mistakes in websites are, for example, having to scroll to access other pages. The above fold content is a super important part of the website. I have one here in front of me. You'll have to picture it, unfortunately. For Lenny Kravitz, we have Lenny Kravitz on the front of this particular website for Dom Perignon, and he's definitely great. Lenny Kravitz. We don't have anything else. The site's hard to navigate, there's too many links and tools to click, and there's no buy now button. So that would be one that I would show you if I could share my screen. Then we have another one that commits a huge faux pas. This is an old version of Zendesk that I have in front of me. And they've run Google AdWords advertising. But they then send their leads to a website rather than to dedicated landing pages. And that's a huge no-no. If you imagine a funnel is this sort of shape. We have the leads coming in at the widest part of the funnel, and then we funnel them down And ultimately, what we want them to do is to perform a single goal, whatever that happens to be: buying a product, whether it's signing up to a newsletter, so you're growing an email list, doesn't matter what it is, but there should be one outcome. If you look at a website, there's a navigation menu at the top and there's a whole heap of options. So you're doing the opposite of a funnel shape because you're reopening up the leads to a myriad of different options. So it's really interesting that Zendesk did this, and it's a real no-no. They should have had a dedicated landing page that has a single call to action on the page. So that was a really interesting example. And something else that's incredibly important in this age where so many people are accessing online material from their mobile is it must be mobile friendly. Now, there's an awful lot more I could talk about, but I have 5 minutes remaining, and so what I'm going to do now is talk about the offers that I have available to you. So I've been working really hard on a system that basically capitalizes on the custom builds that I create for my coaches and consultants. And they have proven to raise their businesses to 6 figures plus, these custom builds. And so what I've done is templated those custom builds into a done for you template that is 4 beautiful website pages and 4 sales funnels, each connected to a different offering. So with this system, which you basically just download and set up by adding your images and your content to these templates, and it will take you probably less than a day or a day at most to get everything set up, and then you've got a high converting website with homepage, about page, a program overview page that lists all your offerings, and each of those offerings is then linked through to a dedicated sales funnel with landing page and email sequences and everything else that you could possibly want. And all that is yours, and I am only doing this for 7 days. I'm giving them this system for free for just 7 days, and in that 7 days, while it's free, you get that, and then after that time, it's going back to its full price of $497. So it's huge value that you're getting here. This really is one of those offers that is as good as it sounds. So if I were you, I would snap it up. It's designed for coaches and consultants, but really it could be adjusted for anybody. So if you want more information on it, I will be putting the link in the description shortly. I believe I have to wait till the end so that Facebook doesn't penalize me, because I think if I add the links during the live, Facebook will bury the links and everything I have. But if you would like to snag it, then you can get it at sharonxhenderson.com. That's sharonxhenderson.com/free digital marketing system. And I'll put that in the description after the live. If you'd like the client avatar guide, it's at Sharon X Henderson, that's HENDERSON.com/client-avatar-guide. And I highly recommend that you snag both of those free offers, particularly the digital marketing system while it is still free, because very soon it won't be. And given that it retails for $497 and you're getting it for free, and it's based on custom builds that people pay $7,000, $8,000 for minimum, and it really has been created based on a winning formula that we have created. So it really is worth getting. If you have any comments in the replay or in the live, we only have a minute left, then please do comment and I will be really happy to answer any questions that you may have. So we have 40 seconds left. So does anybody have any questions for me? Everybody's a little quiet, but I would love to have some comments. Anybody have any questions at all? For those on the replay, if you want to drop your link afterwards in the comments, I will be happy to audit your site and give you some tips on what's working well and what needs to be improved. Any comments, anybody? Okay, well, I have really enjoyed this live. It's been lots of fun and I'm looking forward to chatting with you all after the live and on the replay. Bye for now. Take care. Bye-bye.